Show Podcast. Daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures each and every day of the work week. The usual crew behind me. Bruce, fast asleep. O'Neill over there, cashed out. Darla, still raising hell, chewing on something which will probably wind up being consumed, and then it will show up later on my front lawn. Yesterday was the day for my final blood draw post-kidney donation. The kidney team likes to make sure that after the kidney donation that my health is in good order. What this does is they then take these statistics of yet another success, and then they can publicize that such a high percentage of people have good results when it comes to donating a kidney, and then that helps them so that more people donate kidneys. There have been people that haven't fared well with a kidney donation, and that's the last thing they want. But I've passed with flying colors in every moment that has happened, that they follow up with another blood draw, make sure that my system's operating appropriately. Well, this was the final one. It's been more than 2 years. In fact, I was supposed to get this done a couple months ago, but it kept falling through the cracks. So I kept putting it off. And I don't know, maybe one of the reasons why I kept putting it off is because I knew deep down that I would have to interact with the blood Nazi. Now, I liked to pride myself after our first interaction, which was horrible, as being a charmer where I always have a goal of trying to make her happy and do what she tells me to do and try to charm her, kind of like she's a dominatrix. So you got a picture. She's about 5'2", 100 pounds, maybe. Short, black hair, black lady. Looks like a taller version of Gary Coleman with glasses. And the first time I walked in, she said, "What do you want?" This is at this lab that everybody goes to, like, get when you need like a drug test for your work, you go to this place. It's called Quest Labs. They're everywhere. And everything I said, it was just like met with real aggressive, it's been a while, so I forget some of I actually have a show back when it happened. My first interaction with this lady known as the Blood Nazi, who I tried the old no mask, and she was like, "Oh my God, put a mask on." So I like put my shirt over my face. She goes, "No." Maybe that might have been after the kidney donation, but this chick was just so pissed. I remember I walked in there. They close at 3:30. Which is weird. Every day. I walk in there like 2:45. And it was one of my big blood draws. Like, they needed a lot of blood. And she knew that this was going to take some time. And she said, "Look, we're closing at 3:30. And she's got 45 minutes to get this done. She goes, "This is going to take too long. You got to leave." I'm like, "I got to leave? What do you..." She actually sent me somewhere else. Stand by. So, and then every time I'd be in the waiting room, if someone else comes in, and she's just quick to like scream at these people. And I'm like, how the fuck is she working? I mean, this type of aggressive handling of the consumers as they come in seems so beyond the scope of what anybody would tolerate, But over time, I started to look at this as a challenge. You know, I'd walk in and I'd make sure that I didn't step one toe out of line. Answer yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Answer quickly. And fuck, there was one time that I needed a last minute blood draw because like a week before the donation, some doctor in Los Angeles saw something he didn't like or something like that. I needed one. And she was like, no, we can't do it. And I'm like, look, I need to get this done. And here's why. If this doesn't happen quickly, like my recipient, this might not happen when it's supposed to. And we've all planned I booked tickets to go to Los Angeles. I have all sorts of things in place logistically. And if I can't do this because you won't take my blood, and she, I think I actually reasoned my way into her soul and she was able to do it. You know, she realized that this, you know, there is some sense inside of the blood Nazi. Oh my God. So then follow up, you know, I meet for these appointments and, they're very routine. I think I was making her somewhat moist with my willingness to, I think she gets off on like bossing people around, you know, it's like a dominatrix. I actually think it was sexual. I think she was starting to piddle. So, you know, but I'm still a little bit sheepish, a little bit concerned about going to see her. Now, she's got this cantankerous sounding, I don't remember the TV show Sanford and Son. Fred, Red Fox, he had this, he was always insulting Aunt Esther. Fred, you know, and some of you might remember that. And he'd say these horrible things to her. If like he'd say, "You're so ugly," and if your face was a cookie, they'd be gorilla cookies. Like he'd actually would say that shit on TV. My God. Well, she's like that, you know. She's that loud and obnoxious. So when you walk into this place, on the other side, there's a doorway. You walk into the little like entry lobby area, and then there's a doorway into where all the blood is drawn. And the second you walk in, you hear every time. And I open the door, and I'm at the little kiosk checking in, and I don't hear black lady voice. I'm like, something's up. She might not be here today, you know. Tyler points out he works in the industry. There's nothing she would be doing that should take her that long. You are correct. She just didn't want to work. That's what was up. Hang on a second. Got to put this puppy on the couch. Did you see her jump off, by the way? She's totally got the legs to jump off now. Need a little drink of water. Corey just got 7 ads on the live stream. Oh, Jesus. I'm so sorry. What are you using your free one with? Some video gaming platform or some video gaming channel or some shit? Walk in there. All I hear is white women voices. Huh. So I got to know what happened. And I see the lady who's working with, it's 2 women I've never seen before. So I just start a little conversation with the lady, and I realized I was in a safe zone. Both of these women did not seem to have that aggressive, ball-busting nature about them, you know? And so I got up the nerve to say, now there was a lady that used to work here, and then like I got that far into the discussion, and she goes, Catherine. I go, yeah, she was, and then she goes, black. She like, I go, yeah. What happened to Catherine? She retired. Catherine, the blood Nazi, is no more. She's out of the game. I go, oh my God. I go, I used to make it a point of pride to try to like get her to smile, crack a smile or anything. And she goes, oh, yeah, she was tough. Now, I wanted to ask the question. I wanted to say, how the fuck was she even like allowed to work? And I don't know, maybe it has to do because she's a black chick. That maybe, I don't know. But I mean, she was fucking vicious. She was brutal. These two were great. And then the lady I'm talking to at one point, she goes, are you the radio guy? I go, yeah, which is always fun. I always love it when people do that. We even had a little jokey where at the end she goes, okay, now you need to confirm all this. Is it? She had typed it out and wrote out the little affidavit. And she says, is this your name? I said, yes. Date of birth? Yes. Address? And I go, you forgot to write incredibly handsome. And the other goes, yeah, for $20, she'll do that for you. I'm like, yeah, you want me to have sex with you, don't you? So that's kind of where it ended. It was like anticlimactic. I wish I had more, but this closes the book on any type of kidney follow-up. More than 2 years after it all went down. And I just wish that the clinic that they did this at, they would record the year's worth of interactions that Catherine has had with the public. I mean, she was one of a kind. But no, she's done. Holy cow. The blood Nazi has done. May she have a wonderful retirement. In fact, the lady I was dealing with who she goes, she got a lot of crap about being a tough cookie, but she was the most fun, sweetest lady. And now what I wanted to say was that's bullshit. She wasn't fun in any way. Maybe to you, but I mean, to people that came into here, they were treated horribly. The only reason it's a miracle that this place did not get shot up. You know how it is. You piss anybody off these days, your place is going to get shot up. That's the way it is. Thank God that didn't happen. All right. Dear Meathead in 45 minutes. I think I'm pretty lean on questions. Mark sent one. That's it. If you have a question for Dad on Dear Meathead, Eric at EricZaneShow.com. Please send it along. I had a conversation with him yesterday. I went into it under the, okay, don't think 2-3 steps ahead. Ask him questions in the current foreseeable future, like moments. Conversation started. Where are you? Always wants to know where I am. I go, I'm out in front of my house. Well, I just got done running, and now I'm walking around the cul-de-sac out in front of my house. 30 seconds later, he asked me if I was up north. No, sir. Everything's yes, sir, no, sir. I try to keep it as simple as possible. I am getting more and more of a prominent vibe that with the shortcomings of his brain right now. They're manifesting in a more articulated fashion. He keeps asking me the same thing about some of the characteristics of the up north property that he used to own. Things that are leaving his brain that I'm shocked that it's getting to this point. And it's starting to, I think it's starting to like have a, well, I mean, how could it have anything but a negative effect? But I'm just starting to wonder. Because his health is incredibly strong. outside of his balance. I think all systems are in top order for his age, 89 years old. But so I don't know. I'm starting to have like a little tickle in the back of my brain about just life in general. But anyway, Dad will be with us coming up on Dear Meathead at the top of the hour, as they say. Okay, now, Ben and Eric. Now, we're doing that tonight at 7 p.m. on Patreon, the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. Typically, Ben and I record Who Are These Zanes, reviewing my old radio work. Before that, like 6:15, and then we shoot the shit for about 30, 40 minutes, and then wrap it up, and then start on the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. However, and I had promoted this. Ben informed me that life has gotten in the way. First of all, he starts with, my girlfriend, your fiance, my fiance reminded me we're seeing a venue tomorrow. I can record Ben and Eric at 7. I just won't have time before. For Who Are These Zanes? That's going to break a lot of people's hearts. People love that show. He says, however, I'm available Thursday and Friday for Who Are These Zanes? Now, I'm not. I'm going up north to work on the property with Charity Scam Mike and Sue's husband, Jim Marquis, who does not have a nickname. I might have to change. I might have to give him a nickname. To Stress Ball Jim. He gets a little fidgety and antsy. You ever have anybody in your life that something's coming up and they kind of get a little nervous Nelly, stressed about it, as opposed to like, we're going to do fine. We're going to do fine guy. Charity Scam Mike is, we got this guy. Stress Ball Jim's like, I'm a wee bit stressed. I don't know. Something could go wrong. It might rain. Don't worry about it. All right. So because I'm going up to hang out with Charity Scam Mike and Stress Ball Jim on Thursday, that means I cannot record Thursday. All day Wednesday or Friday, I'll be working. And then I'm coming back Saturday, just in time to like maybe unpack, and then I have a football game to do in Muskegon. So what I'm telling you is that I'm going to punt on Who Are These Zanes? Not for lack of trying. I was a little bummed out about that. I hope you're okay with that. I like to keep you informed. Meanwhile, Who Are These Free Beers? Similar show, but reviewing current episodes of the Free Beer and Hot Wings show and putting our critiques on them. I don't want you to get the idea that this is just going to be personal attacks. It's not. It's going to be strictly listening to the content. And Ben and I, who we've been doing this sort of thing for quite some time, talking about what happened in that segment. Okay. And this was brought about after I reviewed them on Who Are These Podcasts. And then the idea was born for Who Are These Free Beers? And who better to do that than people who used to work on the show? Okay. Personal feelings aside. And there are plenty of personal feelings, as you would guess. And there is an audience for it because, well, let's be honest here. We share audience. Now, the battle lines have been drawn between your old pal Easy and people who listen to that show. For a lot of people who love it, they don't like me. They don't like that I would do this. For people who are upset at that show, and there are plenty, I don't even think that they are interested in what I'm doing on Who Are These Free Beers. But I am literally going with a lot of the gripes that the people who populate the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show subreddit and taking their cues and reviewing the audio that they themselves said, what the fuck is this segment about loading the dishwasher? And that's a perfect place to start for Who Are These Free Beers? The show did a segment about the best way to load the dishwasher. By the way, yesterday, and we might have to review this too, I heard a discussion about bumblebees. And if the story had, it was our old pal Free Beer, if Smug Beer had a point in the story, it would be an interesting thing to have talked about. Point or funny. And it trailed off in the most outrageous way, met with so much silence, I couldn't believe it. He was describing when him and one of his 8 kids decided that they wanted to swat a tennis racket at the bumblebee population around his house. And that was it. That needs to be featured on Who Are These Free Beers? It's stuff like that. If when I was on that show, I would never dream of bringing up something so dull the way it was described. The only time I would ever bring up a story from home is if it had a ridiculous apex and a bit of hilarity. There's got to be a point to it. Jackie and Jim ditching the car. Jackie walking in when mom and dad are having sex. Things like that. Not my kids are running around the yard swatting at bumblebees with a tennis racket. You get it? You see how that is? Well, anyway. That's what I plan on doing with Ben. Now, other than on this show and mentioning it from time to time on my social media, that's it. That's all I've done to get the word out. That's all I can do. Patrick, though, who is super new in the audience and very bullish about what I do here on this show, being that he was a former fan of them. And this Patrick goes way back, like decades of listening to the old Free Beer and Hot Wings show. Listened to Nashville originally. Now he lives in, I believe it's South Carolina. Or is it North Carolina? I think it's South Carolina. And supports on the Patreon. And he's constantly going on the subreddit and working in the name of my show on there. And I said to him, I go, you're going to get banned. They do not like that on there, on that subreddit. They only like, well, first of all, no one really says anything positive on the subreddit, on the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show subreddit. It's usually just people who are pissed off about something. There's very little positive that is on there. If anyone is going to post anything, it's going to be negative. However, they're not so negative that if you post something about me, they're not going to go, yeah, Eric Zane. They don't like me there. I'm banned. They won't let me say shit. So I went over to it yesterday and let's see. Patrick created a thread. He is, by the way, suspicious maximum 34 on Reddit. And he actually, I can't believe it hasn't been deleted. He wrote a thread titled, "Who Are These Free Beers?" Now, again, not everybody there is going to know. In fact, I would say very few are going to know what I even mean by the title. It's a spinoff of Who Are These Podcasts, which is a spinoff of Opie and Anthony Jocktober. And then Who Are These Zanes? You know, it's all, if you have a review show, you have a Who Are These prior to it. So this is a clip review show that Ben and I are doing. Aram writes, Hot Wings tried to bring his family into the show with every day as an adventure, like he was the first person to have a child. I remember that. We made a super cut of him saying, every day's an adventure. Every day's an adventure. Radio voice Linda says, none of their families are remotely interesting. No, they're very interesting. I mean, I talk to Free Beer's wife's ex all the time. His name is Cole or Coleman. Great guy. It's very interesting. If he'd tell that shit, now that would be interesting. The conversations I have with Cole about Free Beer, he should be talking about that shit. That's the stuff people are interested in. Corey says, bees are finally coming back. Leave them alone. Corey says, did Free Beer's wife's ex-husband reach out to you? Yes and no. First, Free Beer's wife's ex-mother-in-law reached out to me. This is after Greg went fucking ham on her and her son, Coleman, on the radio. I mean, he let him have it. And so the next thing I know, I'm in a conversation with Free Beer's wife's ex-mother-in-law. I think her name is Cheryl. Is that her name? Can't remember. Anyway, I have her in my phone. Nice lady. And then the next thing I know, I'm talking to this dude, Cole, about Greg. And so Cole has 3 kids. And they're the ones that part of the time they're over at Greg's house. So I've had a lot of conversations with Cole. Great guy. Nice dude. Ryan says, I've never heard any of this. It's fascinating. Yeah, I kept it pretty close to the vest, but there's no harm in me discussing that I've made a new friend. So every once in a while I'll get a text from him about like some awkward moment that happened. And then I said, I go, dude, when you pick up your kids, you got to have me in the passenger seat of your car when we go to Greg's house. And we had a big laugh about that one. I go, or I don't know, kids concert or something like that, or have me pick up your kids. And he's all about it. He is all about it. He is very fun and very funny. I like him a lot, and I like his mother. Amanda says, do some kind of announcing for the kids' sports teams. Have Cole wear an Eric Zane Show Podcast T-shirt, says Rich. Kyle says, maybe we are running by Smug Beer's house, because we are at the park running. Corey says, I take it the divorce didn't go over peacefully then. I have no idea. I'm guessing not. Cole is, he's a good pal of your old pal, Eric Zane. Anyway, where was I? So Patrick writes, it's been formally announced that the first edition of Who Are These Free Beers will be next Wednesday, May 24th on the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. Now I got to correct you right there. That is not true. It's not on the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. It's its own podcast. It's a separate show. And we're going to record it on Wednesday of next week. It won't be live. However, It may be live in the future. For this first one, I'm kind of making sure that everything goes the way it should without it. Because when you do it live, we'll do it live. You have no room for error. Anyway, that's not the point. Patrick is announcing it on the subreddit. Some topics that will be covered are the infamous How to Load the Dishwasher segment and a Pull the Curtain Back segment where the FBHW guys talk about their new radio coach. It should be funny and give a unique insight. And that's all he said. Well, you're going to get very few people that look on this favorably. This person said Zane must be struggling for listeners again, needs to dip into a job that he got canned from years ago for content to be relevant. I would say I'm always looking for new listeners. Do I need to dip into a job that I got canned from years ago for content to be relevant? No, but I sure want to. Patrick responds with, I think a lot of people will tune in even more than already because of the obvious crossover. Hope you check it out. Now, Patrick is nothing but polite. That's not his game to be an asshole. Very measured in what he says. This same guy thinks that Patrick is me and says, good luck, Zane. Patrick says, I'm definitely not Zane, friend. This first guy says, oh, sorry, Ben. Patrick says, no, I'm not Ben either. This guy writes, shut up, Zane, you're gay. And he writes, Y-O-U-R, you're gay. This person writes, huh? Doesn't get it, doesn't know what's going on. This person writes, so sad. This is so sad. Oh. This person writes, pathetic. So when I see that, that is all just music to my ears. This person writes, I was so a Zane fan and was definitely on the Zanecast idea from the start. But man, that dude sucks on his own with no supporting good cast. It's all just loud and obnoxious. 20-something humor. Time to grow up, old man. You aren't that young or funny anymore. All right. So that's scathing review. Patrick, always polite, says it sounds like you don't like Zane and you find his humor juvenile. Maybe this isn't for you then. I personally love the show and find it very entertaining. I would say check out Who Are These Freebeers? Because as a fan of both shows at one time or another, it's relatable for sure. This guy says, LOL, oh, it's definitely juvenile. He's a 50-year-old man baby who screams all the time. Now, wait a minute. I haven't screamed once since I started this show today. I don't know. Maybe he checked me out when I first started or something. I mean, I don't really remember how I sounded back 4.5 years ago. And I don't know if he's listened lately, but I don't think I have the energy to sit around and scream. You got one thing right. I'm not young anymore. And some would say not funny anymore. But enough people think that I can do this for a living and only have to be a fry cook a couple days a week. And then about it being juvenile, I don't know about that. I try to just talk about the things that are going on in the world and in my own personal life. I don't know how juvenile that can be. You know, I just spent a good portion of the opening monologue talking about the mortality of my father, my interaction with the lady at the blood center for my kidney donation. I mean, fucking juvenile? Can't be juvenile, right? At least that can't be juvenile. Sure, there are some things I talk about as being juvenile, like the blood Nazi making her moist because of my my charms. Sure, that's juvenile. Kenny writes, I'm glad I don't live on Reddit with Smug Beer and Hot Wings collective dick down my throat like those fucks. Ryan writes, come on, you're pretty funny and not terribly old, I suppose. Thank you, Ryan. And then he adds, I know it's all personal style, but the content driven in the 8 o'clock hour on this show is so far is above and beyond the dumb shit they put out, like chasing bees. You're going to love my review of Free Beer's Chasing Bees with a Tennis Racket segment. All right. So there, hey, you know what? I'm thinking that at some point, my pal Cole needs to be on the show. In fact, can you imagine if Cole is a guest roaster on Who Are These Free Beers? Now, I would definitely tape that one in advance, or I'd have to have a big pep talk with Cole, because he is not a satisfied Smug Beer customer. Out of all the people that has an axe to grind with Smug Beer and Smug Beer's wife, I would say his axe is bigger than my axe. It's a big fucking axe. I might run it by him and make that decision his, of course. Well, ultimately, it would be his decision. I don't want to get him in any trouble. But can you imagine we're reviewing the show with the ex-husband of one of the show members' wives? Oh, my God. All right. So we've covered a lot of ground today in the first 40 minutes of this show. I revealed to you my relationship with Cole. We talked about my dad. We talked about the blood Nazi. Kenny says, what if you get Greg's Smug Beer's ex-wife and him? Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. She doesn't want anything to do with any of this nonsense. She's pretty low-key, pretty chill, I think. At least she always was back in the day. You had to know that there was trouble in paradise back in the day when we were on the radio show. And Freebird would say, yeah, my wife's going to be leaving for a week. Oh, yeah? What's going on? Oh, yeah, she's going on a silent retreat, hot house yoga or something like that. I think there was one point when she was staying in like a teepee for like a week alone without him. I'm like, really? Oh, yeah. We're like, oh, boy. That doesn't sound great. Well, anyway, she was always nice to me. So thank you, Patrick, for posting to Reddit. Who Are These Free Beers? We'll record next week. All right. So this show, as I indicated, I need questions for Dear Meathead, Eric at ericzaneshow.com on the Shoreliners striping inbox. Thank you. If you are watching the show on Facebook, facebook.com/Eric Zane fan page, thank you. If you're watching on Twitch, at Eric Zane Show on Twitch, thank you. Please follow me on those platforms if you aren't already. Follow me on YouTube too, as well. Eric Zane Show on YouTube. Subscribe to that. But the full show is available only on Twitch. So I'm about to disconnect you folks on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. If you want the full show as it happens live, you go to twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live so you can hear me yell and tell juvenile 20-year-old jokes. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Or download the Twitch app and search Eric Zane Live. It's that simple. Follow the page so you know when I go live. Subscribe to it. Simply by linking up your Amazon Prime account, you get a free subscription once a month. Corey is not using that free subscription. He's using it on some stupid video gamer who sucks. you should use it on the Eric Zane Show podcast. That way you can get the show minus commercials. Everything I'm saying right now, when I finish up at about 10 a.m. Eastern time, I then turn around and make that audio podcast available for download. That's where the lion's share of people consume the show on their favorite podcasting platform. Just search Eric Zane Show. There it is. Subscribe to it, and off you go. These are all simple, free things that you can do to support the show. Even if you do not listen on an audio platform, please find me on an audio platform and subscribe to it. I get internet points, and believe it or not, they help. As always, patronize the sponsors. Thank you so much. Try to sit through the ads. You can get a T-shirt, ericzaneshow.com, click merch, and that is going to do that. Send me an email if you ever want to chat. I always love the correspondence. Eric@ericzaneshow.com on the Shoreliners Striping inbox. Thank you to all of you on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for checking the show out. Here, I'll send you on your way. Facebook and Twitch. Brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. Twitter brought to you by Blue Frost IT. Thank you for being part of the show. Okay. So your old pal EZ has to go tinkle. And I know Darla's going to wake up in a minute to go tinkle. And I only have 16 minutes until Dear Meathead. So I'm going to take a quick break, and then we will continue on. Send your questions for Dad. Eric@ericzaneshow.com. I will grab Darla, and we are going to go potty. This might be a minute.
I love Mondays. And yes, I'm being 100% serious. Why? It's because I'm a Dunkin' Rewards member. And Mondays are better with Dunkin' Rewards. Every Monday this month, Rewards members get a free medium hot or iced coffee with any purchase. Not a member? Join on the Dunkin' app and never miss a deal like this. Dunkin' Rewards. Save them, stack them, use them how you want. America runs on Dunkin'. Limit 1 per member per Monday. Additional charges and terms may apply. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
All right. That was very involved. Sorry. But, yeah, I think I got to change her food. Yeah, boy. Things are not great. I shouldn't have to when it comes to cleaning up after my dog. Go out there with like these bags, and based on what has left her body, the bags won't work. I have to go in and get a bucket of water and pour it on what's there. Yeah, something's not right out there. Let me if just a little pro tip. There's a company called Hills that makes dog food that's really expensive. And but it is probably, it's a game changer if your dog has digestive issues. And the shit she eats now is actually very good food. The company is called Nutro. Well, she's got a sensitive digestive system, and her tummy is rebelling, and I think it's uncomfortable. Hang on, I got to put her back to bed. She can't get up there, and she just got a drink. So, yeah, it's rough. It's rough right now. I got to figure something out. So, anyway, that's ridiculous to even talk about. More than Blue Buffalo. Oh, yeah. Fucking Hills, which is a prescription food, makes Blue Buffalo look like a bag of Old Roy. Like if you go to Walmart and you get their generic food, it's called Old Roy, which is named after the guy who founded Walmart. And I think when they make, it's like for like 100-pound bag, it's like $8. I think what they do is at the dog food factory, they just get all the ingredients like pig dicks, horse hooves, metal, And then they blend it all together and then make like dog food. So, yeah, I got to get this fucking good shit. Call of Duty says Sam Walton. Yeah. That is the guy who founded. I don't know why they call it Old Roy. Maybe was there a Roy Walton who was like a stepbrother or something like that and nobody gave a shit about? I don't know. Well, anyway. Thank you for being part of the show. Patreon is what I do Monday through Friday after the show finishes. A number of other things that are available on there, including the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast tonight. And next week, the debut of Who Are These Free Beers? You can find it at patreon.com/Eric Zane. Don't be surprised if you see a snippet or two of Who Are These Free Beers make its way to the free platform or something like that. You know, you gotta introduce people to it and then encourage them to sign up for Patreon. But the only place you can get the full show will be patreon.com/Eric Zane. The open and live stream of this show is brought to you by A&E Heating and Cooling. The immortal Joe Martinez and his family of workers. You know, let's be honest here. People south of the border are the best workers. That's why we should have open borders. Bring them all in so we can put everybody to work at all the jobs that us stupid gringos don't want to do. A&E Heating and Cooling. 616-516-8579. Technically, Joe was born in the U.S. He's not like an illegal immigrant or some shit like that. 616-516-8579. He's probably sitting in here listening right now. Let me see. There he is. HVAC 45. Absolute legend. In fact, tomorrow, 8 a.m., Joe Martinez will be here tuning up my air conditioning setup. I have to warn the NFK. Now, if you get here before 8, like 10 to 8, I'll let you in. But if you get here at like 8, I'm going to be starting the show. You got to talk to the NFK and just, you know what to do. You know your way around this place. My God. So there you go. 616-516-8579 for A&E Heating and Cooling. I just got word that his handsome devil son-in-law, David, will be here. All right. David one day may be the face of A&E Heating and Cooling when the old man decides to retire. Word on the street is that David might one day be in the driver's seat. Corey says the Chinese make our shit. The Mexicans clean it up. And then he wrote, what a racist statement I just wrote. Yeah, it kind of feels that way. All right. Joe Martinez, A&E Heating and Cooling. Thank you so much for being part of this show. If you need to install some flooring in your home, I want you to buy the flooring from Johnson Carpet One Discount Outlet. They are in West Michigan. It's worth the drive, though. Head over to Johnson Carpet One Discount Outlet, 2 stores under the Johnson name. The main showroom, I'm not telling you to go there right now. I'm telling you to go down the street just a little bit to the west on Chicago Drive to the Discount Outlet. That is a giant, kind of like pool barn-looking building. It's beige. It's ugly. With a small red sign. It's behind the Little Caesars on Chicago Drive in Granville. Go in there. Check out all the different top brands, top companies that have flooring for sale there. They get it at a lower price because they buy so much. When you say my name, you get an additional 10% off of the cost. That's awesome. Well worth it to head over there. Go see my friends at Johnson Carpet One Discount Outlet. Thank you again to Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. Keep your cars running in tip-top order. 616-532-6600. If it's as simple as an oil change or something a heck of a lot more elaborate, you can get it done at Irvine's. Number one for a reason in West Michigan. Conveniently located right in the center of the area. Grand Rapids proper. If you're along 44th Street, just a few blocks east of 131, the street Stafford, that's where they're on. They're located right on there. You can't miss them. You can drive by it and see it. Next time you're on 44th Street and you pass Stafford, look down the street, you'll see where it is. They just did a beautiful renovation of the place. Doubled their capacity to fix cars. 616-532-6600. Thank you. It's time to call Dad for Dear Meathead. Brought to you by Baldwin Ace Hardware, a beacon of DIY awesomeness in the Northland. Thank you for your questions. Hello. Hello.
Hello, my man.
Hi, Dad. How are you?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You sound like you're coming out from the bottom of a well.
I think you got to turn the speaker on, Joanne's telling you.
You don't? Huh?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
What speaker is that? Hold on a minute.
Yeah. Hey, no problem.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're talking.
Aha. Yeah, hey, Joanne is there pushing the buttons, isn't she?
I tell you, she's a head woman.
She's the engineer in charge.
You betcha. How you doing?
Never better, my friend. Never better.
You know, I've been up for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, you get up a little early today?
Yeah, I got up and sat here and just couldn't even fall asleep. I don't know why.
Yeah, was Joanne still sleeping?
No, she's right here next to me.
No, I meant when you woke up.
Oh, yeah, she was up. I was like a lump of coal.
Oh, man. Yeah. I don't know if it maybe the birds are chirping outside or something. What's going on?
I don't know. I just come downstairs and sat, and the sun wasn't even up.
Have you ever considered writing a book?
Well, I got to be able to spell, so I can't do that.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've got, you can do it where you just speak into a microphone and then someone writes it for you.
Oh, well, I don't know. Too much work.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, people have been. I for a while I've batted around the idea of writing a book because I have a lot of interesting stories that I could. And you're right though. You get kind of tied up in doing other things.
Yeah, it's just I just like to sit down and stare out the window.
I still want to do it though. I think one day. I don't know. I always say that, and then people get disappointed because I say, yeah, I'm going to do it, and then I don't. I don't know if you've ever, done that. Said, hey, I'm going to do something, and then it ends up falling through.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. All right, Dad. Well, here we go. Another edition of Dear Meathead, and
all right.
A lot of people love to hear, of course, from you and Joanne.
Well, thank you.
And Mark writes this: Dear Meathead, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mark.
Says it's always a joy to hear you guys. And his question is, would you rather have $1 million or go back to your 5-year-old self with all of the knowledge you've acquired over your lifetime?
Well, in reality, money. I would like the money for one reason. I would share it with a lot of people.
I knew you were going to say that. That sounds.
I really would.
Yeah, I believe that. That's right up your alley. But I think what he's suggesting is if you go back to being 5 years old with all of the knowledge you've already accrued, you could possibly earn a lot of money. Like, I don't know, about various things. It's kind of the long way to get there, but I see what he's saying. But you would take the money and give it away.
Give it away. You got to use it. What am I going to do?
Right.
You know.
Well, you got to keep enough.
I got a nice house, a beautiful wife, beautiful grandchildren. I mean, everything that every man really desires, I've got it. It's the palm of my hand.
I love that, Dad. It sounds like you've lived a...
And I got... Wait, let's go furthermore. I got 2 beautiful sons that, man... How about 3?
I think
3 of them.
I think you got even more than that. I think we've always struggled with the number.
5. Joanne just says 5. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
The things I got, I love them dearly.
Yeah, you gotta say 5 because you got Jim, Eric, you got Norman, and then of course Michael and Paul.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Well, who's counting?
All right. Very good. That's and plus you got all your beautiful stepchildren too.
Oh man, I got a beautiful family. Wonderful family. The girls just love me to pieces.
Oh man, those women. Those are my stepsisters, of course. They're very, very dear to everybody. So that's true. All right. Patrick writes, Dear Meathead, what should I plant in my vegetable garden? This is a great question because I know you and Joanne have had gardens. What type of vegetables should he plant in the garden, Dad?
I think I have to bring my wife in on this.
Yeah.
Because my knowledge of that gardening really is not too good.
Really? I thought you did a lot of planting.
I do the planting. When someone tells me plant this, I plant it.
Okay, but
so Joanne, you got any input?
Well, just what we planted: tomatoes, string beans, corn.
You hear that?
Yeah, those are all. Did she say string beans or green beans?
String beans.
Green beans.
Same thing.
Corn. Did you say corn?
Yeah, corn is wonderful.
Tomatoes, beets, carrots, onions.
Isn't there something in corn that you cannot have a success if you plant one row?
Yes, you have to plant more than one row. They have to pollinate each other.
They pollinate each other, according to her.
That's remarkable how that is. Can you imagine if, because it'll grow, but it won't produce corn, right?
Right.
Can you imagine the guy who first planted corn and he didn't know that? And
man, only you can think about that.
yeah, I mean, it's like, oh God, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? You know, and then he figured it out. He said, oh my God, that's incredible to even think about. All right.
He had just corny vegetables.
Yes. All right, that's good. Corn, green beans. It sounds like you got a great salad going there.
Or maybe horny vegetables.
Oh, did you say a horny vegetable?
Yeah.
That's
Corny.
They become corny and it grows faster.
okay. Are we saying corny or horny?
Both.
Oh, so a horny one would be like a cucumber.
Well,
Yeah, we planted cucumbers too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Hey, that can be horny if you use it right.
Oh, that's green peppers.
Green peppers also.
All right, this is all good. I love it. Okay. Joanne and Rob, the question, what do you prefer? Or wait a minute, it says coffee or tea. What do you prefer? Which is better?
I prefer coffee because I have a cup of it every morning.
Yeah, I'm a coffee guy too, but I will drink tea once in a while. Joanne, how about you?
I drink tea.
She's a tea woman.
Now, is there caffeine in the tea?
Yeah.
No, yeah, there is. Yeah, I wouldn't know that because I never did. Well,
You can get black tea that tastes just like coffee.
you
Okay.
hear that?
So when you go up north, you're going to need some tea, right, Joanne?
Yes, but I'll bring some.
You'll bring the tea. I've got the teapot. I've still got that teapot up there.
All right.
All right.
Wow.
And I got it.
Coffee pot?
I got a coffee pot too.
You want that one you bought us back?
No.
Did you use the pods in?
No, that's all right. I'm good with what I got.
Okay.
All right, we'll set you up. It's gonna be like a hotel there in that trailer. I can't wait for you to check out the trailer.
Man,
Right.
it's going to tip over.
Do I need to bring water?
No.
No?
Nope. Just bring yourselves. I'll take care of everything.
All right, honey.
All right.
Does that place still exist?
The old trailer?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Man, that's
Yeah.
100 years old.
Well, it was about 70. About 70 years old. That's close enough. No, in fact, I went up on the roof. You know how you got that freestanding roof on there?
Yeah.
I went underneath that on the roof of the trailer looking for the opening where I think the critters are getting in.
Oh, did you find out?
I did find an opening.
What did you do?
I sealed it.
All right.
So that was pretty scary up there. I don't think anybody's been up there since you put that roof on there.
No.
50 years ago. So, all right. Well, very good. How about this? Nathan says it's a question just for Joanne. It's Nathan.
Okay.
Nathan writes, "Dear Joanne, could you please define love? And do you want me to come back to you for your answer?"
No.
Okay. Can you define love?
How many words do I need?
Whatever you want. Whatever you want.
When you care more for the other person than you do yourself.
Wow. So you're willing to, so that person is happy or healthy, and you're more worried about that than those things. You're no longer selfish.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a simple one to live by. Probably many more things similarly that could be said, but that's a great one.
That's my woman.
I remember when we were growing up, you guys had matching T-shirts.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they said?
Bob Seger.
No. Joanne, Dad had one that said "Main Man," and Joanne,
Woman.
"Main Woman," and you'd walk
Main
around,
woman.
"Main Man, Main Woman."
Man, you got a good memory.
Oh my God, yes.
That's funny. I think I still got one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God, that's
Got my Bob Seger shirt from when we first went to see him.
yeah. Yay! Bring them when we go up north. We can bust them out. We can wear old clothes.
Well, I can't wear them anymore. I was skinny as a bone.
That's okay. You know, you're right. Well, no, I'm sure you could still fit in, and it would look fine.
Yeah, it sure would.
All right. Finally, what is better, sunrise or sunset?
I think I like sunset.
I would have said sunrise.
I'm a sunrise guy, too. I'm a sunrise guy.
Yeah.
That's why we make a good team, honey.
It's easy. You know, it's easier, though, to see the sunset because you're already awake.
Right.
But you got to be up really, really early to see the old sunrise, you know?
Did you hear what Joanne says? That's why we make a good team.
Yeah, you sure do. You sure do. Holy cow. All right. Now, when we see each other, not this weekend, but next weekend, it's going to be our biggest group in one place that we've ever had. This has never happened before.
What are you doing? Are you going crazy?
Well, this all happens because Mike, as you know, lost his property.
Yeah.
So Now everybody is in one spot. Now, we've had a lot of people there over the years, but I don't think never this many because now everybody's grown. They all have kids. They have their own accommodations to bring up to the property. It's going to be like a commune up there.
Yeah, how many people are you going to have there?
More than 20.
Oh, my God. That's going to be great.
It's more than 20. And if my math is right, there will be 10 or more dogs.
Oh, my God.
Holy cow.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my God. You're going to bring 5 of them, I think.
We're going to have slip and slide.
Yeah, hopefully we won't have a slip and slide. Are you talking about stepping in poop?
Oh, what a place to live together.
And sheets and all that stuff.
All right. That is, all right. I'm bringing 4. And then the other, I forget what are the other numbers. Who has what? But last check, it was 10 or more.
Wow.
And I think, hey, and Diana's brother might be there, so he'll be taking a crap on the grass too.
Eric, I remember the first dog that you had.
Oh, Cindy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Queenie. Cindy and Queenie.
Queenie.
Yep.
And, yeah, you got a good memory.
Thank you,
Mine
Corey,
is
for the joke.
Half shot and 1/3 gone.
Yep. All right. Well, hey, you guys, I love you. I'll be talking to you very soon, all right?
All right.
Hey, Eric, do I need to bring sheets and blankets?
No, ma'am.
No?
We don't need sheets and blankets. We
No.
sleep outside.
Nothing? We just come?
Just come and the bed's already made waiting for you.
All right.
Okay? If
Holy
you
cow.
if you have a pillow that you prefer, bring it.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Okay, love you.
Love you and see you up north. And I want to say, audience, you're the greatest.
They are the greatest, and they love you guys very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There you go. Dear Meathead. Brought to you by Baldwin Ace Hardware. Maureen says, and it's not the murder mattress. No. Corey, with a moment of self-awareness, says, now I'll pipe down too much of me in the chat. Well, that was a great joke that popped into my brain. Thank you for the assistance about the NFK. I don't know what Bob says. Weird, I haven't seen a single ad. That's because you're a subscriber. If you are a subscriber, you don't get the ads. Kenny points that out. That's remarkable to me. I got people on here who listen to every word of the show. And how many times have we talked about this? And it goes in one ear and out the other. I'm not criticizing you. I'm just saying that sometimes people think that, oh, man, they're relying on my every word. No, they're not. They're not. They're doing things while they're listening. Yeah, if you're subscribed on Twitch, you get no ads. Thank you to Baldwin Ace Hardware for sponsoring Dear Meathead with my beloved dad. When he asked me about that, and Kenny writes, if you have the EZ icon next to your name, it means you're subscribed. The blue Prime crown only means that you've linked your Prime account. Kevin Kuiper says, I'm up to 9 ads every hour. Oh, my God. He brought up, if you notice, about that trailer. That's still there? We've had that same exchange 2, 3, 4 times in the past 48 hours. Isn't that unbelievable to think that that's what's happening to the mind? I can't, and my dad does not have the realization. This is all very serious. I'm sorry. But that's how it goes sometimes. You know, I'm yelling with my juvenile 20-year-old mouth. The idea that he is no longer aware that his mind is leaving him. To him, he has forgotten that he has dementia. And it's just, I think it's, he doesn't really realize it now. And I think so now what you're looking at is that that's kind of a blessing because we all see it and hear it and know this. He does not. So we are all kind of like reminded constantly that there's a fade going on. So, you know. Kenny says, Eric, the great part about your dad is that he might be forgetful about these little things, but he's still very much aware of how much he loves you. You can hear it in his voice. He's so great. Kenny has a very sweet thing to say. I appreciate that very much. Star on the forehead. Linda says he's still happy and enjoying his life. That's all that matters. Oh, yeah. You know, I mean, there's so much life in there. Maureen says just be patient with him and don't ever tell him he's repeating himself. Oh, of course. Of course. Yeah. You just kind of, that's part of his charm. Part of his charm. And we're all on the same page. It just worries me. I just don't want anything to really take a drastic turn, you know? Long-term memory, good, because Maureen points out he remembers my first dog. But, I mean, recent things are hard for him. When it comes to the 9 ads, Corey says Eric can change that in his ad manager. He's only required to play 3 minutes of ads per hour to... Yeah, I know, but 9 ads means I get more pennies, okay? I think. Isn't that right? I think there is some type of... The more ads I play, the more pennies I have in my pocket. Or just subscribe. That ends all of this. All right. Kyle points out you have to treat a person like my dad the same way you treat a 3-year-old. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Good for you. Ryan writes, Big Fraud Zane, always looking for the next penny. Hey, you got to get your scraps some way. Somehow, some way. Okay. Thanks for being part of Dear Meathead. If you want an Eric Zane Show podcast t-shirt, speaking of pennies, get it at ericzaneshow.com. From time to time, pretty frequently, actually, they go on sale. They're priced at $22. But when they go on sale, they drop down to $16. So keep your eyes on the site if you want to get a sale price of $16. But typically the 22, so that's not bad as well. Hoodies, I think, are 35, 37, 39, somewhere in there. ericzaneshow.com. Click on merch. Thank you to the Kent County Health Department. Online at accesskent.com/health or call them at 616-632-7200 if you need information on immunizations for your little ones. Measles, mumps, rubella, whooping cough, pertussis, meningitis. Not to mention the cervical cancer vaccine, which has essentially eradicated cancer of the cervix. That is a shot that is called Gardasil. Talk with your doctor if you have any questions about these things, but you can get all of these for little or no cost if you qualify from the Kent County Health Department. accesskent.com/health or 616-632-7200 if you have questions. Sarah Honda Granville, SERRA, HondaGranville.com. Test drive a new Honda today at Sarah Honda Granville. Love these folks. Awesome over there. Test drive a new one, figure out what you want to buy, and then get after it. 2 weeks later, you're in your brand new car. You know, how they do this is they kind of like custom build everybody's car these days. Gone are the days when the lot is full of 300 cars. For some reason, COVID changed that in a weird way. However, there is a full lot, Michigan's largest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles if you want to drive off in a car today. SarahHondaGranville.com. Those certified pre-owned cars are a year or two old, like new, still under warranty, and awesome. SarahHondaGranville.com. Okay, there is a crisis in the country of credit debt. Americans owe over $1 trillion in credit card debt. All right? That may be you. You're paying 25% interest on your balance. Get the money out of your home and pay that off, every penny of it, like now. If you have like a $20,000 debt on a credit card, right now you're paying, I don't know, north of $500 a month in interest alone. Okay? You would never pay that off paying the minimum payment. And then, you're digging with a shovel, but the hole's not getting deeper. You're not making any ground because of that huge interest nut. So get the money out of your home if you own one already with the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. And then let's say you owe $20,000, get a loan for $25,000, 6% interest, pay off the loan, and you got $5,000 in your pocket for whatever. You need some work done on your house or go on a trip or something like that. You deserve it. And then you're going to pay off, a 6% loan over 30 years. So if you've owned your home for a long time, dip into the house, use some of your equity, and get out of that fucking cycle of despair and pressure and stress, and get out from under that loan on that credit card, and then tear that fucking credit card up. Don't tear it. Cut it up. I don't think I could tear a credit card. 231-332-6505. If that's you, do that. All right. Joe Martinez says, I just closed the app and reopened. Ad is gone. A lot of discussion about the ads on Twitch. I'm sorry about that. Still better than Facebook. My God. I used to get in trouble. I'd get in a fight with somebody on Facebook and then say something nasty. And then that was that. Speaking about saying something nasty, I don't know if you heard about my old pals on the Boomer Bunker. Remember the Boomer Bunker, those fucking idiots? Who they have, they're the full MAGA bigoted show. I call it the Bigot Bunker. Well, they did something fucked up. And watch this. Like on YouTube, you click on it, and then let's see. This is not right. They must have opened up a new account. You would click on it, and it would say that they got banned from YouTube for something that they said. Maybe they got their account reinstated, but something went down, and I looked on YouTube. Maybe it was Twitter. I don't know. But the Boomer Bunker got fucked right in the butt. Boomer Bunker. Yeah, I don't know. I probably shouldn't have went down the... Oh, look at Brian Johnson. From Tell 'em Steve Dave. Nice guy. Anyway, something went down on the Boomer Bunker. Maureen says that Kate Creer in New Jersey co-hosted with John Jamingo last week. Wow. Oh, I bet that was awesome. I bet that was a riot. Corey asks, don't they jerk off to Tucker Carlson? Oh, yeah. They probably just sat around and made fun of people who are transgendered. Did you see that on the former Zaniacs United page? That's all they do is they just sit there and talk shit about transgender people. Jimmy writes lots of donuts. Well, that's mean to say, that, and that's not true. Kate is a fitness guru. Let's not go down that road. Ryan says, wasn't Trump a big Jamingo Boomer Bunker fan? I'm pretty sure. All right. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I got to focus. Where I live, there's a story going around, and this is everywhere, but the word on the street is that automakers are about to start making cars, like the big three automakers are going to start to make cars that don't have AM radio in them. Okay? Now, forget AM radio. I mean, if you thought no one listened to radio in general, which is true, no one listens to AM radio even more. On some of your automobiles, you have to really kind of work into the integrated system of the dash to even get to the AM. And before, it was just you just hit a button, AM, and there it is. Now it's still there, but you have, like on Diana's car, it's relatively new. It's like it's not as simple as a push of a button, and no one's listening to it. I mean, a lot of you who are enjoying the show, you don't listen to radio, and if you do, you sure as fuck don't listen to AM. Because where we live, the only AM station worth anything is Wood. And they're on the FM, too. They simulcast it on the FM, 106.9, and that's pretty much what everybody listens to. If they lost the AM, it wouldn't matter. So the automakers are going to get rid of it. And now people who own AM radio stations are saying, no, we can't. So audio check, video check. We're going to see footage from a local AM radio station.
The AM button on your next vehicle may go missing. Ford and other automakers have announced that they will no longer put AM radio receivers in cars. But fans of AM and station owners aren't going away quietly. News 8's Joe LaFurgey has the story.
Mostly sunny skies out there today.
It's local.
They are high near 76.
It's live.
With a low.
Okay. It's local. It's live. So this dude, he's got his computers here with his automation. This piece of equipment here, this board, that might be 50 years old. That's really old school.
Right around
rotary pots like that.
Back to the old days of AM radio.
It is.
When station programmers knew their community.
Hopefully some of the information that...
There it is, Ionia, where that big sign is. That actually looks pretty cool.
Maybe some things you didn't need to know, too, if you text them to us.
Well, maybe a throwback. Technology has made the conversation a two-way street.
You got a text request there?
Brian out there doing, well, the work that we need more of. Planting some corn out Portland way.
But Ionia...
Okay. So, yes, that's definitely local. Talking to the guy who's planting corn on the Ionia. That's okay. That's a super rural community not far from here to the east.
WION 1430 AM stereos J&J Midday Show probably won't raise listeners' blood pressure. Paul.
Hey, you know what? I'll give them this. They're on in the afternoon. Two people live. These big, gigantic radio companies, whoever they have on the afternoon, it's one person and it's pre-recorded. It's voice tracked. So, I mean, that's actually pretty cool, I think.
Politics seldom enters into the conversation.
When it gets right down to it, they want local.
they're not denied what's happening in the world during the daytime because we have that news, but they're also not denied having company during the daytime that we try to give.
Jim Carlisle is owner and half of the midday duo at WION.
You are having entirely too much fun.
Well, yeah.
We are in here during bad storms. We are in here for delays. We are in here
I just have a feeling these two guys are having sex.
talking about the Memorial Day parade or whatever else is coming up. We get texts from people that are just out of high school. We get emails from people that are senior citizens and everybody in between.
But there is concern from Carlisle and others in the AM radio industry that a large portion of their audience may not have access to their signal in the future. Ford, along with several foreign automakers, have decided they'll no longer include the AM radio band in their entertainment clusters. Some of it has to do with the future. Interference from EV motors on AM signals is part of what's driving the decision.
That's probably the key. The motor on the EV fucks up the AM signal somehow.
And automakers also claim that AM receivers are obsolete.
And the rumor is that they could fix that, but they don't want to do the research for it. It's not, the juice isn't worth the squeeze when it comes to the automakers doing that because there's not a ton of people that care.
Because those same AM stations can be streamed.
The argument that there is streaming of stations, we stream worldwide, as you know, doesn't work because there's an awful lot of places that don't have good cell signal.
AM radio supporters say they've gotten some attention from members of Congress, but they say public pressure on automakers is key to winning this battle.
And you will get none.
AM Stereo 1430, WION.
And posts like this on WION's webpage are part of that push.
They're wanting to just take the choice away. Mm-hmm. And we think that's wrong. I think that's wrong.
Brian Winnikins splits his radio work between WION and his home station, WION and his home station. Winnikins splits his radio work between
farm, news, markets, sports, and weather. This is all the shit that you'd be surprised. These local mom and pops like that, they usually live in one room of the radio station. And then the radio station is in like the other half of their house. And then they make a fucking killing because they sell only to people in like a 10-mile radius, but everybody buys it. And this is all these people listen to in these small rural communities. They have a point.
Between WION
See, look at
home station WRDN in Durand, Wisconsin. He thinks removing AM radios is another way for automakers to increase income from subscription services.
They don't get that with a free alternative in that vehicle.
So the battle over whether AM radio will remain in future vehicles continues.
That will wrap it up for the show today. I'm Jim.
I'm Justin.
Just like the end of every midday show, broadcasters hope the audience will come back.
We'll see you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen.
And the AM
they should finish with, and we're definitely more entertaining than Around the Room.
Button will stay on the dash.
Have a great rest of your day.
Near Ionia, Joe LaFurgie, News 8.
Serving West Michigan since 19.
This all boils down to the way the game is now. There's just so much to listen to. That's part of the whole idea between on a cumulative level, the number of people that are listening to the radio, that number overall is way down. You add to the mix another platform. You have AM and FM, and then what you're hearing on there is something that the consumer isn't interested in anymore. FM, all of the music they can get on their phone, so that's obsolete. The only thing that could be different could be the personalities in between the songs, but is that a big enough of a motivator for the average person who's getting their content on their phone? I don't know. The only thing that is not able to be replicated is the human voice. Well, even that can be replicated, but the personality of the human, which is why probably talk shows on FM will be fine overall, at least for the foreseeable future. But if there was really anything worth listening to on AM radio, so let's just say that baby Jesus came down from heaven And he had the most compelling radio show on an AM station. That would probably work. My point is, you have to have something that's absolutely worth listening to. And it's just survival of the fittest. It's just survival of the fittest. Ryan says, with the pay so bad on FM, I imagine the only pay on AM is getting your dong sucked by your co-hosts during the 11 p.m. sauce hour. Jesus. Your old pal EZ headed over to the TV station's Facebook page. There's lots of comments. A lot of them are saying, some of these people that live in Ionia County are these right-wing kooks. And their theory is that Big Auto is eliminating the AM radio to silence right-wing shows. So that's like their point on this. Tommy here says they always will have live sports, so leave things alone. Yeah, I pretty much turn to the FM dial for sports. If you want the Lions, they're on 101.3. If you want the Tigers, they're on 106.9. Those are all FM signals. There's a lot of talk about what to do in a national emergency. People will tune to the radio and they're like, no. SMS emergency alerts to cell phones is actually more efficient and reliable than EAS alerts on broadcast stations. And SMS doesn't require internet. And then one asshole wrote, the radio station has nothing to worry about. Ionia County locals won't be able to afford cars that new. In the year 2091, they'll be buying cars built this year. Carry on. I'm curious if that got any traction. I have to go back and check on that. I can't see it now. Maybe I can. All right. Joe Rude, who used to play with Gunner and the Grizzly Boys. Eric Zane, I happen to know some very rich farmers from Ionia County. One drives an electric pickup truck. You just love throwing shade on rednecks. This is true. Moving on. Terror at the John Ball Park Zoo. Our zoo was so stoked because they brought in these pygmy hippos. They bring in pygmy hippos, which are like little hippos, and they're adorable. You ever see, like, I think it's the Cincinnati Zoo, that one hippo called Fiona? And when she was a baby, I mean, it was just the most cute thing you've ever seen. Well, at my local zoo, they're expanding, and they brought in some of these pygmy hippos. So you go in, you get to see the pygmy hippos, and it's a habitat that has another creature in it known as a Sitatunga, which is a type of antelope. It's a medium-sized antelope. So I'm guessing, you're looking at maybe a 70-pound creature, I'm guessing, antelope. By the way, if you've ever driven through different parts of the country, like out west, the antelope are everywhere. Like if you drive through like Nebraska or Colorado and you start to make your way up to that area, the Northwest, oh my God, there's antelope everywhere. And I had never seen an antelope And you got long stretches of like Vanishing Point Highway where you're going just straight for like 5 hours. And it's a goddamn petting zoo of antelope. I'd never seen one of those fucking things. I almost got in a wreck because I was watching herds of antelope run around. It's the same thing here. How we have deer everywhere. People who don't live in communities or states that have deer everywhere, which I thought was everywhere. I thought deers were fucking everywhere. People see a deer and they lose their shit. I was driving through, what's the one with Old Faithful? Yellowstone. Driving through Yellowstone Park, and you got one lane going one way and another lane going another way. And sometimes there's traffic backups because people see wildlife. So there was like a fucking 4-mile backup. And it took forever to get to the point where the animals were. And all we wanted to do was get to our stop so we could spend the night and crash and get some food. And we finally get up to the spot, and it's a meadow with like 3 deer and a bunch of Chinese people running around trying to get pictures with the fucking deer. And I'm like, get the fuck out of the way, China people. I want to get to my fucking stop. It was ridiculous. We just drive right through. Well, anyway, the zoo brings in the pygmy hippos and the Sitatunga. Let me get a picture of these things. Pygmy hippo and the Sitatunga, which I'd never heard of that either. All right. This is what a Sitatunga looks like. It's cute, kind of like to type. It looks a little like a deer, you know? Like a full-grown one might look like this. But they brought in this baby Sitatunga named Chopper. And then also is one of these pygmy hippos. Look at this little... It looks like a typical body shape of former Zaniacs.
You suck a big butt dick because I know you want to.
They're actually in better shape than former Zaniacs. I mean, but seriously, look at this. Look at how cute this is. It looks like Baby Godzilla. Do you remember Baby Godzilla? All right. So the pygmy hippo. Fuck, this one looks like Darla. Look at the wrinkles. Now, that's a very huggable animal right there. Don't be fooled. This thing's a fucking trained killer because they introduced the Sitatunga and the pygmy hippo, and they've had a couple play dates at the zoo. They're getting ready for prime time at the zoo, you know. Shared habitat, Sitatunga, pygmy hippo. Everything's going to be great. They bring in Chopper, which is the Sitatunga, and for a play date just the other day, and the goddamn pygmy hippo attacked the Sitatunga and killed him. I mean, what a horrible thing. It just went down the other day, the big announcement that that's a big setback. They sent the release out last night. The attack happened during a controlled intro between the hippo and Chopper, the male Sitatunga. The two had visually been introduced through the last month in preparation for them to be in a new multi-species habitat together. Those meetings went well. I mean, silver lining. This didn't happen in front of the kids. You know, can you imagine if they did make it to prime time and it's the big opening of the big exhibit and there's like a whole school of kids from Chavez Elementary. Half of them are armed and, motherfucking... the hippo attacks Chopper in front of the kids. Trained animal staff brought Chopper in the hippo habitat for the introduction when the pygmy hippo suddenly attacked. Zoo staff immediately separated the animals, and the animal care team tried to resuscitate Chopper. According to John Ball Zoo, they were unsuccessful, so I don't know what the extent of the injuries was. I didn't realize. God damn. The zoo has successfully introduced species many times, and our staff was thoroughly prepared for this introduction, said zoo CEO Peter D'Arenzio. The sad incident reminds us that despite enormous cautionary measures taken by zoo staff over the last several weeks, the behavior of wild animals can be unpredictable. Chopper was loved by all the staff who cared for him. Can you imagine if they're like, all right, now how did this happen? And then they like look up Wikipedia, a pygmy hippo, and it says number one enemy, Sitatunga. Oh my God. So that's a sad thing to report, and that's devastating news. Devastating news to be sure. Holy crap. Another story about animals. It isn't animal in the wild, but this is holy shit. Some guy in Colorado is driving down the road. He's shit-faced. He shouldn't be driving. Got a couple of pals in the back seat who should have taken the keys. He gets pulled over. As the cop is coming to a stop, he sees the driver switch spots with his passenger, which I haven't yet mentioned, in the passenger seat, and says, here, you make it seem like you were driving. The people in the back seat, the two who aren't drunk, are like, oh boy, I don't know if this is not good. The cop's looking right at you. Cop walks up to the passenger side and says, what are you doing? He says, I'm just going for a ride. Well, I think you were driving. And the guy says, no, I'm not. I wasn't driving. The dog was. He switched spots with the dog in the front seat. He put the dog behind the wheel and went over to the passenger seat. Holy fuck. Audio check, video check. I love this this news reporter, this anchor. He does a good job of keeping it together. But he's a real pro in telling this story because, I would have, he's got the, you can't make this stuff up, folks, look on his face.
Tough night for at least a driver in a southeastern Colorado town. That's because he tried to switch seats with his dog after being pulled over on suspicion of DUI. Now, it happened in the small town of Springfield. That's in Colorado's southeastern corner. Springfield police say an officer pulled over a driver going 52 and a 30, and then the driver tried to switch seats with his dog. The dog had been in the passenger seat. They said they were trying to get from Las Animas to Pueblo, but got lost. Well, they were, because as you can see on the map, Springfield's in the other direction. The town's actually closer to Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and New Mexico than it is to Pueblo.
It's like 5 hours away.
Police say there were also...
Look at the co-anchor. She's got... That's a look that says, dumb fuck.
So two sober people in the back seat, one of whom the actual owner of the car. Springfield's police chief says he doesn't know why one of them wasn't driving. The driver, who they found in the passenger seat, was booked on several charges, as well as 2 prior warrants coming out of Pueblo. The other 2 passengers then took the car and the dog to Pueblo.
Yes, we are. We are worried about the dog.
I'm always worried about the dog. But that's bonkers. I mean, I'm a dog that likes to drive, thinks he can drive, but come on.
You do?
For at least a driver in a south.
All right, that's it. Oh my God, do I love that story. Can you imagine being the cop? Just okay, take me through this. I saw you change seats. You figured your best option was to try to trick me by putting the dog behind the wheel of the car and then telling me that the dog was driving. My God. And the unnecessary nature of this, the fact that the owner of the car was in the back seat letting the guy drive. What the fuck? Maine says they need to push for a plea bargain and nail this guy for double digital on the dog. I'm not sure what that means. All right. Finally, I want to share this clip of a Little League baseball game. This one does not end in a brawl. Typically, if I'm going to show you anything baseball related, it's going to be something got hit in the head. Somebody got hit in the head with a pitch or something like that. But no. In this one in Florida, watch this. The coach pitch baseball. Watch what happens here. Windy day. Okay, that's a dirt devil. The batter runs away and the catcher is like, "Oh my God, I'm all fucked up." And he's like frozen. He's standing there as a dirt devil is spinning around him. The umpire grabs the kid out of the way. Did you hear the guy said, did he say that's cool right there? I think somebody said that's cool right there. Sorry about the wind noise. Dirt devil dissipates. No big deal. Umpire's a young kid. Umpire looks probably a high schooler. And they're thanking the umpire now because he grabbed the kid out of the way. And then the guy says, "You saved his life." He didn't. It's nothing would have happened. Nothing would have happened. It's a dirt devil. It's not a EF5 tornado. The fastest a dirt devil could ever get, or ever has been, is 60 miles an hour. And this was not. This was just like a light breeze. This was fucking cool. If I'm the kid, I was like, "No, don't rescue me. What are you doing? I'm in the middle of a dirt devil." So, no, it's kind of overstating it. Didn't save his life. I mean, nice. It's a nice move on his part. Florida man says, "This was in Jacksonville where I live. The kid who rescued the kid is going to slay so much poon." Jimmy says he then got killed by a hippo. Rich says the 19-year-old ump cares more about the kid than the lazy-ass parents. He definitely did say that is cool right there. That kid must be pretty dumb. I'm getting that one from Linda. I don't know about that. I don't know if we can say that. By the way, those things, I was reading, usually a cloudless day when those will form. Hot day with maybe a little breeze where the cooler air is a little higher or something like that, and the cool air will rush in to where the hot air is just a few feet above the ground, and then that thing will start. That's the same, similar to like a water spout. That's pretty cool shit, frankly. And that ump wrecked it by taking the kid out of there. Now, probably a good move. Corey says, not like the kid was going to get swept up and thrown to Oz. This is true. Hey, get a lot of dust in your face, though. Whatever. Good time to steal third base, Jimmy says. Corey, in true troll fashion, says that kid and umpire are asshole of the day. I don't know about that. I'm not sure who is going to be the asshole of the day. I do know that it's coming up in just a moment. Advertise on the Eric Zane Show podcast. It's very simple. Just send me an email and I'll tell you how it works. Eric@ericzaneshow.com. If you too want to be part of a podcast where I sit here and scream for 2 hours with 20-year-old humor. Thank you to TC Paintball. Rick and his crew do an amazing job at this entertainment destination in West Michigan. Online at tcpaintballgr.com. Book an event at TC Paintball for you and your crew. Maybe some of your folks in the workplace, neighborhood kids, instead of playing baseball and getting sucked up by a damn dirt devil, play some paintball at TC Paintball. Online at tcpaintballgr.com. Book your event today. The Dirty Donut Race is now days away. June 3rd in Martin, Michigan. If you use Zane23 at checkout, you will save $10. DirtyDonutRace.com. Be part of Michigan's #1 gravel bike race. 4 distances, 10, 21, 41, and 61. Hang on. Excuse me. Get in line and sign up today. Now, they're getting close to being full. This is Michigan, like I said, Michigan's #1 most popular gravel bike race. Just became #1 this year. Next year, they will be expanding and adding more entries. However, you can still get in right now, but not for long, at DirtyDonutRace.com. Code ZANE23 at checkout. Save $10 and enjoy the race. For every donut you eat, you get 5 minutes off your time. That's awesome. I love that. Fun this weekend at Berlin Raceway. Berlin Raceway. Wait a minute. Sorry. BerlinRaceway.com is where you go to buy tickets for just $14 a pop. 15 and under, free. Parking free. 12x9 cooler. Bring it on in. They do measure. And fill it up with all the snacks you want and all the soft drinks you want. No glass, please. No alcohol. When you do want beer or mixed drinks or margaritas, whatever the fuck, it's all super affordably priced. This is the best bargain for this type of any type of sporting venue entertainment in the entire community. They do an amazing job. The crowds have been spectacular, and it's going to be an awesome night of racing Saturday at Berlin Raceway, online at BerlinRaceway.com. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I can't remember if I mentioned this like an hour ago. I don't think I did. But when I took Darla out to go potty, I had this fucking bird feeder. And I'd never seen this before. A fucking turkey flew up because we got the landscaping is like elevated. It's like all sorts of like walls. And the very top wall, even with the height of the house, we have this bird feeder. All these fucking birds come. And there's a goddamn turkey there. A turkey managed to, well, they can fly a bit. He wanted the bird feed so bad, he flew up. And it's like a turkey and all these finches and a cardinal. It was incredible. And I open up the door and he goes, rah! And he starts flapping his wings and he flies about 25 feet, lands and just running away. I've never seen that. I've never seen a turkey wander over to there. I even have ducks land there. It's the place to be. That thing holds a ton of feed, and the word has spread throughout the bird community so much that one of those a day. We're using so much fucking bird feed a day. And man, they get pissed off if you don't fill it up. They're like circling around like, let's go, chop, chop, asshole. My wife bought a 50-pound bag of it and just set it in the garage for me to bring it in. It's so bad. I didn't bring it in. I waited a day. I walk out there. A chipmunk has eaten through the bag. He sees me. His cheeks are packed fucking full, you know? He can barely move. His face is so full of the seed that he's ripped open the bag. And he waddles his fat fucking ass out of the garage. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Oh. Overrun with wildlife. Today's asshole of the day. Is that chipmunk? Brought to you by TC Paintball. Congratulations to that chipmunk for being the asshole of the day, winning that great award. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being part of the Eric Zane Show podcast. I hope you've been able to tolerate all of the yelling and juvenile humor. Sir Bob of Oliver says, asshole of the day, people that don't subscribe and then complain about the ads. Yeah, Corey, you're supposed to be like Mr. Twitch. What the fuck could be more important than this show, you stupid dick? All right. Talk to you on the Patreon, folks. Thank you so much for being here. Till then, bye-bye.